if you're in the management team of a company and a new technology comes out, there's two possible reactions. It's either fuck yeah or oh shit.
You have a great line in the report. You said, like, when people ask who will be the Adobe of AI, the answer should be clear, and it will be Adobe. Like, why are you convinced that today's incumbents are going to be able to innovate and capture all the value?
Yeah, I mean, like, here's the thing I think people kind of miss is there's this mentality in Silicon Valley that every X years something happens that's super disruptive and the chessboard gets overturned and like there's a whole new game to play, right? That's like the mentality. So people are like, oh, like the first revolution was a PC, and then it was the internet, and then it was mobile, and then it was, like then it was crypto, then it was, AI is the next one. And so people really want that to be true. I mean, if you think about a lot of the VR story, same thing, people desperately want disruption that will overturn everything and make all the options available again. I think the reality is a little more nuanced than that, right? In terms of how this stuff works, right? So if you think about it, it's like the biggest company in the world, the companies in the world are actually the PC era companies that navigated the internet well, right? The second biggest companies are the internet companies that it turns out that like people like mobile was so disruptive. It's like, no, mobile was just more internet, right? And so for the companies that did a good job with more internet, right? The Metas, the Googles, obviously the Apples and Microsoft. It's great for them, right? And so when you think about the transition, what we've seen now, AI is really just more cloud, right? Is what it is, right? So you think about who are the customers, what are the APIs you want for them, like what are the resources you need? It's like it's not like there's some big disruption to the major platforms. It's like perfect for them, right? And so take Adobe as an example. It's like, look, they have a huge install base in all the creative tools already, right? Candidly, they've already been working on AI forever, right? They have access to the hardware. They have access to the huge data sets that you want to like make really interesting, uses of creative. It's like they have it all. And so when you look at like people are like, oh, we have this cool ability to create images from scratch. You're like, yeah, but like that is not a product in and of itself. Generative fill, on the other hand, which is like Adobe has 1,000 pieces of tooling and they add one more, is like completely obvious, right? And so it's not, look, I will be wrong. Like, I want to be clear, like there will be exceptions to this framework. Someone's going to come up with something, they always do, right? But like as a general rule, like every time you get pitched Adobe for AI, you're like, this is perfect for Adobe. They're already cloud native. They're already on a subscription model. They already have the tooling and the distribution. And this is not actually threatening to their model. It just helps them.
To me, the way I think about it when there's this new wave is like, is this in conflict with their current business model?
Right.
And to me, like cloud was clearly in conflict with the old kind of client server business model.
Yeah.
And so you saw these cloud companies actually really take massive market share, whether the Workdays of the world or Salesforce or all these different companies that kind of appeared. And it was very, very hard for the other companies to make the pivot.
Yes.
Whereas AI seems completely aligned with the current business model.
That's right.
It just makes it better. It doesn't seem like it's something that is going to like, they're not going to have to like change their pricing dramatically or something.
No, I mean, if anything, I think like the irony, I have this line, maybe you'll like this, which is that people want to say like, what's the difference? Like, if you're in the management team of a company and a new technology comes out, like there's something, you see a headline or your engineer shows you something new. There's two possible reactions. It's either fuck yeah or oh shit, right?
Yeah.
And AI is like so obviously a fuck yeah for all the big companies, right? It's not an oh shit, right? And so it's like clearly who's going to win this is in, so I actually
they're embracing it like right away. Like it's not like Blockbuster worried about, like they're like, oh, Netflix is going to mess up our whole business model or something, right? This is like the exact opposite.
Yeah. And so I think what you see is like, again, I'm not a skeptic on AI having impact on the business ecosystem. I think the biggest companies can get way bigger and like do some cool shit. And I also think it's great if you're small, right? Just as cloud or like honestly like AWS made starting a company way easier, more leverage, you can do more with less. Like I actually think there's going to be a ton of single digit billionaires made on like niche-y things with like teams of 7 people. Right.
Yeah.
I think it sucks, though, if you're trying to build a $10 billion company or a platform in the middle. I don't think that's a great place to hunt with AI.